bans me for complaining and having complaints, including with the BCGU. And the BCGU is quite happy. It's been more than a month since they say the BCGU accepted part of my complaints that are going to look into it. Never heard back from them after that, but you get punished for using your union, and you shouldn't complain that they're charging you fees to not do their job, A college that has people, and it's not the first one. I've documented many over the years if you would have followed my YouTube channel, and it's people who take care of themselves, who are not learner-centered, right? They don't put the students first. It's common, and it's not just BC, and it's not just Canada. And it's kind of weird that people, when I tell them at the beginning, well, I walk the talk, I don't meet other people who do, and then they eventually provide more and more evidence that they are not people that walk the talk, I wonder what kind of stresses they go through. That guy parked a little too close at the college there. Those cement bars, People don't understand they make damage to their vehicles that are too low. The college that wanted me at one point to do a driver training thing, and I would have, and I said, well, that's part two after you pass the probation period of this community you're sending me to, which, I'm saying, don't do this to me. There's a lot of red flags. Don't do this to me and my cat. And yet they do, and now they're all stressed, and they're all kind of uncomfortable if they meet me around town. And I've gone through this cycle many times before, and I get red flags again at the end of the week from the Salvation Army that's been helping me, that I want to help them, and they're trying to delegate things to me that they don't feel comfortable doing themselves, but it's quite simple. But nobody does their own work when it comes to people in education. They have so much going on in their lives. They haven't really matured as people primates, so when they meet an Homo sapien, they kind of think that's an evil person or something, and they don't realize I'm consistently me like I claim to be, but they are consistently them as I claim that they are. So they get uncomfortable with interacting with an Homo sapien, and how it kind of proves, hey, you need to kind of put a little bit more effort, not in your career advancement, but in the maturation process of you as a primate, as a member of this species that we share DNA with. And yet I've done the work, and because it's so rare now, I haven't met anybody like this in decades that has done the kind of work I've done to self-actualize or go through the maturation process. And to not just challenge some of the personal development courses that had become crappier and crappier in the last few years I was on the island and attending some, but also to give some and want to offer some even for free by myself. The devolution of your species has been speeding up. There's a lot of ways, but there are things that are very consistent. And what you must be going through every time I kind of come to a community where I interact with you, and then it ends up that I have to do a complaint, and I never have time a lot of the time because there's too many complaints. And at the same time, I don't just focus on doing complaints, because for me, complaints is not a way to earn a retirement fund from that complaint. So that means I'm still looking for ways to be of service, and you don't see that. That's what distracts me sometimes from following up on complaints. But what's really, really sad is, let me tell you in a second here. Yeah, I've been banned from so many places by not doing anything wrong. In fact, by complaining about others doing things wrong, and you get banned because you're not a team player in the low standards of the human condition. So let's say I get a job somewhere else, and I would give it a try, and it's far from here. And it's been 2 months now I've been here, and I haven't found my cat. But even if it'd been like 3 months, it'd be very likely the same. As if I leave, people have to understand I'm not leaving because I have a chance to earn income somewhere else. I'm leaving because the things that are important to me, like, for example, friendship or a romantic relationship, or being of service in a way that has value based on my understanding of what that is, not just kind of washing tables, or picking up donations of bread or whatever it might be with a company van, but doing what for me is my specialty that is incredibly needed and not given by anybody else, it turns out, at this stage of our devolved history, is when I'm leaving, it'll be because I didn't succeed in finding friends or finding a role that I had already, by human standards, and in all fairness, proven myself capable of doing, including volunteering to do something that is extremely crucial, either in mental health and education, just training, right? Just training workshops a lot of the time. So if I have not been given opportunities and I've documented my efforts to make friends, to meet ladies, to partake in activities I like, but they're not of quality enough to keep me there, then again, people, that's why I'm leaving. It's not because of the possibility of income somewhere else, where this exact same cycle will likely repeat. But it is nice to then be abused in a new place where the old triggers don't come up when you keep being abused in the same place. Do you understand how pathetic it is? One of my strategies of living among you, one of them, something from species alienation, is moving along once in a while. Now, of course, I would not move along to a good fit. If I found a good fit, if I found one friend, a role of meaning. There's a lot of places where nobody wants to bother training the volunteer, even though they need volunteer. There's like at least 4 or 5 places here I can tell you that qualifies as this. Oh yeah, they're still trying to recruit volunteers, but like, why aren't you doing more training kind of stuff? Because that's one of the reasons you'd lose me if I don't get a chance to acquire skill sets that excite me, because I'm a lifelong learner and I want to keep growing these tools in my tool belt. Is, yes, you're losing me not because I'm in good standing with you, but I'm in good standing with what? Like I'm still not trained to do what I'm supposed to be able to do if I tell people I'm a volunteer at this place. So again, there's really no interactions or quality in the relationships in a place. So if I leave, I know, okay, I'm going to start all over somewhere else and it's going to be exactly the same there. And it's sad, but it's just so nice to just keep moving and seeing different places and meeting different people. And really that adds a tiny chance. If you stay in a community long enough and almost nothing manifests, it's still possible the month later something could. And people, I say, well, you didn't give it a chance. Well, I'm sorry, but there's so many ways that I can prove that you failed, that you did not give me a chance. And I don't need that kind of abuse. So going on your timetable, when really priorities in some of the roles you're in should have been that your timetable was wrong. It should have been you trained me or kept me or given me opportunities. It's one of the reasons I left Ladysmith, is when I'm doing additional training other than being a driving instructor, going into master's degree level stuff and all the training I took in life skills and counseling and mental health, and how I'm not given roles that would be of a polymath with all these skill sets in a community where they loved me, but only for being a driving instructor. It's sick, right? It's sick. It's a sick community that doesn't want to help itself. It just wants to use. So when we're going by your timetable, what you're wanting me to do is be your slave. Is you're wanting to decide certain things about my life management, based on your choices, based on your intellectual laziness, your procrastination, which eventually proves that it never gets done because you're dead at that point. You're old and you're dead and you're retired and you never got it done. Well, I'd prefer not staying in a place like this, even if I never get it done, and just going for the remote chance that some new community might have somebody that I totally enjoy and that totally enjoys having meaningful and philosophical conversations with me on a regular basis, and it doesn't drain their little brain. That's somebody I'd like to meet. I haven't met anybody like this here. There's no Philosopher's Cafe here. I could try to get that going. I've been trying to get a few things going, and it's not like there isn't any locations. And it's not like there aren't people in charge of these locations that could just do the minimal effort to set these things up, because really they don't have a lot to do to just say yes and advertise on, the newsletter or the poster. And I'm doing a Philosopher's Cafe, but it would have to be a desire to actually do more than the bare minimum they do every day to be in the role they're in, or getting the paycheck they get, or the benefits they get from, being a volunteer here and there. So again, it makes me sad that that's the low standards people want me to accept, because I care about them too much to think they're only capable of that.